This is a video review of the Tactical Operation Products Stryker incandescent flashlight. This is a 2CR123 format, similar to a Surefire 6P or a Solar Force or a Cabela's XPG. So any of those types of lights are very, very similar to this product. So it is, as I mentioned before, it's a xenon incandescent flashlight. It has an aluminum orange peel reflector, and if I could estimate it, spits out about 80 lumens, maybe 60 or about 70 lumens out the front. And I'll show you some comparisons with my Surefire 6P in a moment. So let's take a look closer at this flashlight. It has a really nice, thick and robust shirt clip and lanyard loop that's removable, and it's really solid and really well made, and it's held in place with the switch tail cap, which is a simple screw on, screw off, momentary thumb switch type of cap. Anybody who's familiar with a stock Surefire 6P would be familiar with the operation of this type of light. Okay, so let's take the cap off and show you the insides of the light. So it's got really tight O-rings, solid O-rings, and smooth threads throughout. So there's the inside of the cap. Actually, one of the funky things about this cap is it completely comes apart. You can, if you're not careful, actually you can just push on the thumb switch, the momentary switch, and the entire pill, I guess, if you want to call it that, just pops right out. So you simply just drop it right back in and push it back in place. So pretty nice assembly overall, pretty solid, pretty robust. That right there just shows you the simplicity of a twist on, twist off tail cap. So it comes with a pair of T.O.P branded primary cells that I'm using for the purpose of this review. These are 3 volts a piece. Okay, standard, probably Chinese origin, I'm guessing, batteries. And here's a look down the barrel of the body tube and a close-up of the threads. Threads look kind of gunky and gunked up because they've got a lot of grease on there right now. This shirt clip slides right off, so you can remove it if it gets in the way. And let's take it apart further at the bezel end. So it's got a really aggressive, really nice anti-roll features on this bezel, and it's really hefty and it's got a really nice feel to it. The whole light overall has a really nice feel to it. It's really solid. It's as heavy as my Surefire. And the anodized finish is really nice. It's got a really thick, satiny kind of feel to it. So they did a really good job with that, I think. My major complaint is a Lexan plastic window. I don't like Lexan windows. They scratch far too easily. They build up electrostatic charge, and they gather all kinds of dust and debris on them. So yucky. But they are impact resistant. So if you plan to use this as a firearm aid, or if you drop it, you don't have to worry about dropping it, that type of impact is not going to have an effect on this type of lens, and no problem at all in that regard. So here are the threads on the bezel. It's got a nice big O-ring, very tight seal to it, and here's the xenon module. The dust and debris that you see on there are from me taking this thing apart multiple times. Out of the box it was very clean, and there was no debris or dust at all on the surface. And there you can see a close-up of the orange peel surface. And here's the spring terminals. This spring here is something I modified to fit a Deal Extreme drop-in module. So out of the box it's a flat end spring that's on here. So there you have it. Oh, let's take a look down the barrel here at this end of the body tube. Pretty thick wall, very clean machining, high quality throughout. So I paid $24 for this light, and it's, in my opinion, it's built much better than a typical Chinese origin $25 light that you get like online or on eBay or on Deal Extreme. So I would put it on, in a lot of ways I put it on par with my 6P in that regard. So let's put it all back together and go do some white wall beam shot. Whoopsie, some white wall pill. Hang on. The pill just fell out of my switch. So there's, right away, there's something you want to watch out and be careful with. Okay, so there you go. I've got it all back together. So if you're changing batteries in the field, it's one thing you want to be careful with. You don't want to go pushing down on this button. It's going to pop the guts of your switch out all over the place. So not a very practical, I guess, type of mechanism, but it's simple. Okay, but I would much prefer some sort of retainer to hold that switch pill in place, like a Surefire. Okay, so here we are at the white wall for some beam shot comparisons. So that beam of light, that hot spot towards the left, is out of my Surefire 6P incandescent. So that's about 65 lumens as rated by Surefire. Okay, and here is the T.O.P Stryker on the right. So T.O.P Stryker and Surefire 6P. What you're looking at is a control shot, and I'm just going to toggle back and forth from light to light. So there is the 60 to 65 lumen Surefire P60 incandescent, and there's the T.O.P Stryker. Surefire 6P, T.O.P Stryker. Surefire 6P, T.O.P Stryker. So they're both pretty close in terms of output. Okay, so we're back inside, and honestly I wasn't going to do a full-featured review on this light simply because there are so many $20, $25 P60 hosts out there. I mean, Solar Force, Robinson, and the list goes, Superfire, the list goes on and on. But as I started to use this light over the course of the past couple of weeks, I realized it's a really well-made light. But the kicker was I found a way to use Deal Extreme drop-in modules into this flashlight with a little bit of modification. In order to fit a Deal Extreme drop-in module into this light, you need to take your file or your Dremel and basically trim down the perimeter of the reflector. The reflector here, this area here of the reflector around here is about 21.8, I believe, millimeter diameter across, and the inside of the flashlight is just a little bit less than that. And there you go. You can see how I've thinned down the walls a little bit of this reflector in order to fit into the T.O.P Stryker. I also took the stock spring from T.O.P Stryker and I cut it about a quarter of it off, so it kind of sticks up a little bit and makes good solid contact. Okay, now you can take the modified drop-in module and just slide it right in. Okay, previously it was too big to even fit into the body of the flashlight. So it just drops right in, and you simply screw down on the bezel just like any other flashlight. And one of the nice things about it is the bezel flares open and flares out really wide, and the module reflector sits forward a little bit more here than, for example, the Surefire. So what that does is it gives the T.O.P Stryker a little bit more side flood to the sides. I hope you guys find this review useful. This has been a web video review of the T.O.P Stryker incandescent flashlight.